Before we dive into today's episode, if you're a coach who wants a simple roadmap to turn your coaching vision into a life-first business, make sure you grab a copy of my free Spacious Business Blueprint. It's a one-page planning tool, plus a short training that walks you through the 7 core foundations that create steady client flow. So if things have been feeling scattered or heavier than you know they should, this is going to help you step back, look at the big picture, and see exactly what needs your focus right now. The link to grab your copy is in the show notes. All right, let's get into today's episode. Most of the advice out there for online coaches is build your business on social media. Get visible, post consistently, learn how to create great hooks and reels and share carousels and show up every day. And while I absolutely believe that social media can be a great place to connect with people, to share your ideas and to build relationships, the idea that you can build your entire coaching business on social media alone, or that it's the most effective way to nurture trust, for most coaches, it's a myth, because social media is only one environment, and it's an environment where people are usually scrolling quickly, they're multitasking, they're half paying attention, and it's not always when they're in the headspace to deeply learn or reflect or fully understand the depth of what you do, which means it can feel like this huge amount of pressure to communicate the full value of your work in tiny snippets of content and 30-second videos. So if you're a coach and you've been feeling overwhelmed by content creation or stuck trying to come up with new ideas every week, or like you've had to become a full-time content creator to get your business working, when really what you want to do is focus your time on coaching. So if that's you, this episode is for you, because today I want to share a calmer and more effective way to think about content, a way to build trust without needing to be online 24/7, a way to create content that continues working for you over time, and a way to create multiple pathways into your coaching business that doesn't rely entirely on social media and doesn't require hours of new content every week. Welcome to the Life First Coaching Business Podcast, where ambitious, purpose-led coaches trade hustle and burnout for simplicity, freedom, and clients who light them up. I'm Leonie, ex-architect and business owner turned business coach. If you're craving a business that feels spacious, joyful, and actually fun, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll be diving into the strategies, the systems, and the mindset you need to make your coaching business work for you. So let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you've found us and that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build a calm, evergreen content engine that attracts coaching clients into your business without you needing to constantly create brand new content ideas every single week, and without feeling stuck on the content hamster wheel like you're on this treadmill you can never jump off. Because it's definitely one of the biggest sources of overwhelm I see for the coaches I work with, this feeling that content is never finished, that there's always something else that you should be doing, coming up with new ideas all the time, following the trends, keeping up with the algorithm and the changes, and often a lot of that time and mental energy that goes into content, without it leading to consistent clients, could be better spent in other ways in your business, in creating assets for your clients, in serving your clients and providing value. So if you've been feeling like content is taking up way more space in your brain, way more of your energy than you'd like, this episode is going to feel like a breath of fresh air, because I want to introduce a different way of thinking about content that is calmer, more strategic, more sustainable, and much more aligned with a life-first coaching business. This is not an episode where I'm going to tell you don't use social media. Social media is absolutely a place that can play a valuable role in your coaching business. I think it's a great place to connect with people, to start conversations and build relationships, and share your ideas. But I do believe that short-form content alone is rarely enough to build the level of trust that someone needs when it comes to coaching. Because coaching is a thoughtful decision. Investing in coaching is a thoughtful decision. People often want to understand how you think, how your approach is different, how you help people solve their problems, what working with you actually looks like, and whether you're the right fit for them. And that usually takes more than just a few snippets of content or 15-second reels, especially when we consider that not everyone sees every post that you post. So you might get a new follower and you've no guarantee that they're actually going to see the things that you're posting. Also knowing that most of the time people are quite distracted when they're on social media. They're just scrolling and looking to be entertained. They're not always in learning mode. So what's often happening is thoughtful, highly capable coaches are ending up feeling pressured to communicate something quite deep in a small piece of content, in tiny snippets, and it never feels like enough. And then you start telling yourself you're no good at business because you can't crack social media. And it's totally not true at all. It's the approach, and it's trying to say something deep and meaningful in a way that's compressed and snipped off and dampened down. And the other thing is that you're often feeling this pressure to start every week with new ideas and this blank canvas of what should I post this week? And you're finding yourself worrying about things like hooks and trending audios and algorithms and Canva templates instead of what your business is actually about: coaching, transforming your clients' lives. So a much calmer way to approach content is not constantly creating new ideas, but identifying a small number of really meaningful conversations that your ideal clients actually need to hear so that they can understand your work, trust your approach, see the value of your coaching, and feel ready to take the next step, so that you're not reinventing the wheel every week, but you've got a small set of really valuable core ideas and explore them consistently over time. Because repetition is what builds trust, builds recognition, builds your authority and the clarity in your ideas and your thought leadership. So you don't need endless ideas, you need the right ideas, and you need to share them consistently. So how do you actually do this in a way that's calm and time leveraged and effective in your business? So this is what I'm calling the Calm Coach Client Engine. It's about creating a simple evergreen content system built around 5 strategic pieces of long-form content. And these pieces will clearly explain who you help, what problems you solve, how your approach works, what makes your perspective different, and what the next steps look like. And once those 5 core pieces are created, they become core assets in your business. They help people to discover you, people who are actively out there looking for solutions. They help people understand your thinking. They build trust in your approach. And they help your ideal clients see how your coaching is for them. And what you ideally want is these 5 core pieces of work to live as a long-form article on your website. And if video feels natural to you, you could also record a video of you talking and explaining the concept and embed that video into the article as well. And this allows your content to work in multiple ways. It reaches people who like reading, and they can read it. It reaches people who like watching, and it also reaches people who like listening, and they can consume it as a video or an audio. And it also allows your content to be discovered by people who are actively searching for the solutions online. So instead of only being visible for 24 hours, your content becomes something that continues to work for you long term. And once you've built those 5 pieces of content, which you can do gradually over time, you don't have to create them all in one go. But once they are created, your weekly marketing becomes much simpler. Because instead of thinking, what am I going to post this week? You simply rotate through your 5 core topics and each week focus on sharing one of those. And you can do that in slightly different ways. You might share one particular insight. You might tell a story related to that topic or answer a question related to it or share a perspective. But then you can always be guiding people to the full piece of content if they want to go deeper. You've always got the next step for them to learn more, get the full picture, get the full framework, which means they become incredibly useful because you can use them in so many different ways. You could link to them on social media. You can link them in the DMs. You can reference them in emails. You can pin them on Pinterest. You can repurpose them into shorter content. You could turn them into a nurture sequence and package them up as a lead magnet. So you can share them if you're having a conversation with someone about your coaching. And one of those pieces of content will help them understand it better. Instead of having to get on a call with them or go back and forth, you can simply share that piece of content with them. Then you can follow back up and ask if they have any questions. So it really helps you to deepen those conversations that you're having with people. And you get to just share them again and again. Instead of constantly creating, you're just distributing, you're refining, you're strengthening, you're repeating, and building on this foundation that already exists in your business. And what it also does is create multiple pathways into your business. So people might discover you through search, through Pinterest, through YouTube, through Instagram, through emails, through referrals, conversations, whilst always being guided towards content that is doing the right things, is helping them understand your work, connect with your thinking, and feel ready to take the next step. And then if you did package them up as a series and use them as a lead magnet, almost like a mini course delivered via email, this allows you to nurture your audience automatically without needing to constantly create new material. You create it once, and you could even pour fuel on that by running ads to it so that your lead generation was completely automated. So there's so many opportunities to use this really amazing asset in your business in lots of different ways. And it's something that can be working for you while you're off living your life or while you're coaching your clients. You can still generate leads, you can still nurture your clients, and you're not having to actively do this all the time yourself. So this is a system that's going to work best for you if you're a coach who's already seen some movement in your business, you're already signing clients, but if you feel like content creation is taking up way too much of your time, or you feel like your marketing feels scattered, like you're having to reinvent the wheel every week, this creates a much clearer structure for you, and it allows you to put your energy into something that's going to work for you again and again and compound over time, not something that just disappears within 28 or 48 hours. And the important thing to note is that you will need a few key foundations to be in place for this system to actually work effectively, because those 5 pieces of content, they can't just be generic, they can't be vague, they need to be highly relevant, highly specific, and highly valuable. And they need to be really tailored for your ideal client. So what those 5 pieces of content are is vitally important for this system to work. So over the next 4 episodes in this series, I'm going to walk you through how to get clear on your niche positioning to make sure that content is going to work for you, how to clarify your messaging, how to ensure that they connect naturally to your offer and to the next steps in your business, and then how to choose the right topics for your pieces of content. So you can create this content engine in your business and make sure that it's going to be effective and actually work for you, attract your ideal clients, warm them up, and lead into your coaching offer. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, this system sounds like exactly what I need. I want calm structure for my marketing. I want content that works long term. I want to stop reinventing the wheel every week. Then this is something that we could map out together inside one of my business strategy deep dives. We could identify your core topics, make sure they're connected to your niche and message, ensure that they lead naturally into your offer, and create a roadmap for your content engine so that you leave with that clear plan for implementing this in your business and knowing what pieces of content to create and how to link them all together. So if that sounds like something that you would love the support to work on, then I'll leave the link for the strategy deep dives in the show notes. And then make sure you tune in to the other episodes in this series to get all the other pieces of the puzzle. So I hope this episode has helped you see that content doesn't need to feel like this endless treadmill that you're on, and that with the right structure, it can become something calm and supportive and time leveraged in your business. So if this has resonated, as always, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me a message on Instagram. Let me know your biggest takeaways. And if you know another coach who's also feeling overwhelmed by content creation and marketing their coaching, then please share this episode with them too. And I'll see you in the next episode where we'll be diving into the foundations that make this system work. So until then, take care, and I'll catch you next time. This episode is brought to you by the Life First Coaching Business Playbook. If you're building your coaching business and you want a clear, connected strategy that actually works for you, the playbook walks you through installing the foundations that create steady client flow. Inside, you'll refine your niche and offer, shape a visibility strategy that leads to real conversations, install a simple sales process and clean system so you can attract clients and lead your containers with calm and confidence. So your effort builds into a business that genuinely feels good to run. It's self-paced, it's practical, and it's designed for coaches who want clarity and structure without the hustle. You'll find the link with all the details in the show notes.